Subjective well-being in South Africa. The stories of satisfaction and dissatisfaction in South Africa, drawn from the National Income Dynamics Study. The NIDS survey collects a wide range of data about people's lives. Some of this data looks at how people feel about their lives and how they think they will change in the future. Here we look at levels of life satisfaction and how people feel about their economic performance compared to other South Africans. The first measure is of subjective well-being and tells us how people think and feel about their lives. In 2008, 2010 or 2011, and again in 2012, we asked South Africans to rate how satisfied they felt about their lives on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is very satisfied and 1 is very dissatisfied. In 2008 and 2012, the most common answer was 5 out of 10. However, when looking at how people's satisfaction has changed between 2008 and 2012, most South Africans have become less satisfied with their lives. In total, about 50% of South Africans expressed a drop in satisfaction by at least one level, while only 36% moved up. In 2008, 14% rated themselves at the two most dissatisfied levels, compared to 16% in 2012. Also in 2008, 13% were on the two most satisfied levels, compared to only 10% in 2012. We see differences in life satisfaction across race groups. White South Africans are far more satisfied with life than African South Africans. Only 2% of white South Africans reported being very dissatisfied with life in 2012, compared to 8% of Africans. White South Africans were also less likely to become more dissatisfied with life between 2008 and 2012. 40% of them became more dissatisfied with life, compared to 51% of Africans. So while South Africans as a whole appear to be becoming more dissatisfied, there are differences across race groups. These differences are probably driven by factors correlated with race, such as income. Turning to what South Africans think about their economic well-being compared to others, we asked people to imagine a ladder with 6 rungs, the top rung representing the richest in South Africa, and the bottom rung representing the poorest. We then asked them to say where they believe they are currently on this ladder, and where they will be in 5 years' time. In 2012, 52% of them believed they ranked in the middle third of income groups in the country, which is on the middle 2 rungs of the ladder, while 45% believed they ranked in the lowest third, the bottom 2 rungs of the ladder. Only 3% believed they rank in the richest third. What we find is that many rich people in South Africa underestimate how economically well off they are compared to others in the population. Based on calculations of per capita household income, if we look at the richest third of South Africans, that is those with an income of more than 1,544 rands per month, only 5% guessed their status correctly in 2012. And most of them, about 67%, incorrectly thought they were in the middle group. On the other hand, of the poorest third of South Africans, 64% know that they are the poorest. Although the very poorest of the bottom third tend to believe themselves less poor than they actually are, and rate themselves on the next rung up. However, we have seen perceptions of economic rank are changing over time. Between 2008 and 2012, South Africans began converging towards the middle. So fewer people perceive themselves to be ranked in the poorest or richest third, with more and more people assuming they are receiving an average income. So what are the implications of all this for policymakers and policy researchers? We might think about people are feeling less good about their lives as time goes on. It is likely that this has negative effects on people's mental health, productivity, as well as social cohesion. Those who are economically well off underestimate how well they are doing compared to others. So how does this play out for social cohesion, altruism, spending behaviors, attitude towards redistribution, tax, and community investment? In the next video, we will explore how people's beliefs and expectations of the future have worked out in practice, and consider the implications of the gap between expectation and reality. This video was drawn from the National Income Dynamics Study. We continually follow 28,000 South Africans throughout their lives and collect a huge amount of data every 2 years. It's designed to help you create better policy informed by better research. It's available and it's free. Find us at www.nids.uct.ac.za. The National Income Dynamics Study, telling the stories of the people of South Africa.